With over 200 million viewers, The Chosen, a show about Jesus and his disciples, is one of the most watched shows in the world. Episodes 1 through 6 of Season 4 are already on screens in theaters. The final 2 episodes of Season 4 hit the big screen February 29th. You'll recognize our next guest. Luke Dimyan portrays Judas, and George Zanthis is the actor portraying John. So thank you, George and Luke, for being with us. George, when you were first accepted for the role as John, what were your thoughts? I mean, no one knew at the time that just how big this series would be.
I have to be honest, I thought it was John the Baptist. So I was initially like, oh, like someone had to say to me, you know, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I was like, oh, wasn't as well versed as what I am now. But yeah, I was kind of also like fretting because as an actor, you kind of look through and you kind of like, oh, you know, and when I saw John the Baptist, I was kind of fretting, going, oh no, I know what happens to John the Baptist. But then I was pleasantly surprised to learn it's John the Apostle. And then John is like the last disciple, like he's like the 12th disciple to leave us, let's just say. Yeah, that made me go like, oh, okay, now I know this character a little bit more.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't John the Baptist. You would have ended up with a short career there in the series.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Luke, you weren't introduced until the end of season 2, so you already knew the show was a hit when you started the series. So, what was your feeling at the time? Did it mean a little more pressure on you to perform to get that character right?
Oh, not really. I hadn't known about the show until I got cast. Believe it or not, I don't think the hit really started to carry. I wasn't there from the beginning, so I didn't get the full experience of starting the 4 episodes, getting picked up for the other 4 to finish season 1. But I definitely could tell a difference. Our from the switch from the little trailer wagons to actual trailers and full sets and times, and the production value changed. So I actually I got in the tail end of it really blowing up. So that was interesting, and that was really fun to get to be a part of right there, right at the end.
Well, for both of you, I'm sure your roles have changed you personally and as actors. So after all, Luke, you're playing the role of the most notorious biblical figure in human history, or one of them, and George, one of the most esteemed. So how's it changed both of you personally and as actors?
Well, I can afford healthcare now, which is nice. So but yeah, honestly, now I have this incredible, amazing family of actors and artists who I can like lean on through work. I've learned so much just by watching them perform and by constantly being like pushed, not just by the scenes and the dialogue, but like the elements. Like we are out there in the beating suns of Texas and Utah constantly, and so it's a really fun experience to constantly come back and get to work with people that you enjoy immensely, and to do work that's just constantly challenging you.
How about you, George?
Yeah, I think that nuts and bolts as an actor, like becoming comfortable on set and being able to do this with people you love and trust, really does change you as a performer. It makes you super comfortable, and it makes me long for The Chosen. I remember doing some jobs in between seasons, in seasons 2 and 3, and I remember thinking like, I wish I was back home. You know, I call it home now. So as an actor, like the nuts and bolts as a professional, you feel that, like, you know, that's the 9 to 5 of the job. You come in, you have your breakfast, and all that stuff is kind of like things that people don't really see. But also as a character with John, it's just, you know, as you could probably tell from my earlier story, I wasn't as well versed, in John's gospel as what I am now. I kind of read it as research. I'd never read, you know, that part of the Bible, or I'd never read the New Testament. Like I'm kind of reading it now for my character. And I would say the main thing is that we say this all the time, that the show brings the stained glass window images of these disciples off the walls and in and amongst us. And I'd say something like, you know, somebody like John, who, like you said, very esteemed, turning him into a relatable character and being able to use parts of myself in him. I can imagine audience members will look at John and see him, as a son of thunder, very zealous, and then his trajectory to becoming, the beloved disciple, or the disciple of love, as some people call him as well, and going, oh, that's a journey that maybe I can go on. And John misses the mark a couple of times. He doesn't get it right the first time. And it's a good learning experience for people that we don't always have to be perfect. We just have to strive to be better.
Yeah, Jesus called imperfect people to be his followers. Luke, do people ever confuse you for the character that you portray and kind of reject you because they see you as the disciple who betrayed Jesus?
No, I think our fandom's smarter than that. I
Good.
think they're well aware and know the difference between an actor and a character. Plus, I haven't done anything to make them hate me yet, so.
But tell us what we can expect in the final few episodes of season 4. What's the takeaway for people?
I guess the takeaway would just be, no matter the hardships that you go through, the loss that you may face, and the pain that you may endure, there's always hope, and there's always love, and there's always a promise of a better tomorrow. And if we focus on those, we'll be able to persevere through those hardships.
Well, you have 3 more seasons. We know how this will end, right?
More like 1.5 for
One
me.
and a half for you. We know Judas commits suicide, but George, your character goes on to live a long life writing one of the Gospels, 3 letters of the New Testament. So is there any talk about continuing the series by maybe portraying the book of Acts, the early church, the writers of the Gospels?
Well, this is kind of what I was getting to when I was talking about the confusion between John the Baptist and John the Apostle. Like, I mean, there are endless opportunities there. And you know what? Maybe I'm speaking directly to the producers of the show. I know that being a Greek person as well with a Greek passport, John ends up on the island of Patmos. So, hey, if we want to do some sort of, if we want to do something there, send George to Greece. I've got some contacts there. Maybe we can see what happens with John after the fact. So, hey, if it's in the works, I'm all for it, considering what John ends up doing.
Spin off.
On a lighter note, before we wrap this up, you guys ever get tired of playing second fiddle to Jonathan Rounie? I mean, after all, he portrays Jesus. You ever step in and remind him that he's just an actor like you guys?
No. I'm like, take the weight. He's got so many lines. Do not envy him.
Well, I don't have to remind him. And me and him have done karaoke together. We used to live very close to each other. We used to watch 3 movies a week with our AMC, membership. So me and Jonathan got really, really close as the season kind of started, and we've stayed close. So he honestly, he is still that, goofy mate of mine. And I'll always see him as that, despite the fact that he's probably Jesus to so many other people.
Yeah, he's such a humble guy.
Jonathan's a real good guy. He doesn't need any reminder. He knows the part he's playing, and I think he appreciates the separation more than anyone else. Like, he's just an inspiration to be around to work with. He's fantastic.
Well, we appreciate you guys too. The Chosen Season 4, Episodes 7 and 8 will be in theaters starting February 29th. Luke Dimyan and George Zanthis, thank you for your time. God bless you guys.
Cheers, mate.